In the year 2050, there were some people who survived the natural disasters caused by excessive development, and there were also some people who believed in the judgment of God. However, on that very day, 90% of the human race disappeared, as humans were no longer the owners of the Earth due to the appearance of dinosaurs caused by environmental changes. Mankind had fallen into a crisis again. After the appearance of dinosaurs, guards soon emerged to protect mankind when humans were desperately trying to get back to their past glory. On the other hand, there were people who thought of that as gods, and they worshipped the dinosaurs, the saurians. They even conspired against the guards. Two computer scientists were seen discussing if they should proceed with their research since the pulse was normal and even the pre-experimental figures were good too, so eventually the synchronization was possible. They were then told to proceed with it. Because of the birth of Saurus, people who disobeyed the dinosaurs would be destroyed, and only the saurians, who believed that they were the chosen ones, would live in the world. The synchronization of Tyrannosaurus then began as it was 40% complete and no obstruction was found, but when it passed 60% synchronization, a harmful instruction was detected, whereby there was an overheating of equipment P and T, and also the signal reception was lost. Even the experiment failed, and thereby the synchronization would not be possible. The synchronization at 93% was completed. Thereafter, there was a danger of explosion that they decided to try manual suspension of the synchronization. Suddenly, a man commanded them not to stop the synchronization, and he assured them that it could be possible and also be completed soon. But one of the scientists made the man understand that if they did not suspend the synchronization, the laboratory would be in danger. Just then, the other scientists announced that 120% of the synchronization had been completed, and it is still counting. At that moment, another scientist informed the professor that someone had unlocked the security device of the subject, so the subject had awoken. A young boy was seen as he lay unconsciously on the floor, and a man near him tried to claw back his attention. Later, he raised his hand and asked the man where he was, as it was strange to him, and he also asked the man who he was. The man then asked the boy if he remembered anything by chance, and the boy replied that he could remember a few things about how his head ached and how scary everything was, which the man nodded for, though was better than not remembering anything. The man carried the boy on his shoulder to another place. 10 years later, the boy has grown up and has started training on how to build himself and his muscles. He tries carrying a big stone on his back and doing push-ups with it 1,000 times. However, it seems like the man who carried him away 10 years ago is the one who trains him now. The man then trained him on how to dodge materials until he was good at it, which the guy knew was due to the materials the man kept on throwing at him. The man then explained to him that he could become a guard that hints at dinosaurs if he has a lot of skills, but the man felt bad for doing it. Meanwhile, the guy knew that the man always had fun doing it, so he told the man to act heartbroken to him again. He also told the man that he did not want to be a guard, but the man explained to him that he heard that guards earned a lot of money. However, the guy still insisted that he did not want to be a guard. The man then explained to him that he would explain the reason behind why he wanted him to be a guard one day, but still, the man was proud that the guy at least followed whatever instructions he gave him, and in that sense, the man told him to do an extra 1,000 push-ups, which scared Jim because he just finished doing them. In the inner mind of the man, he already knew that it had been 10 years, and so it seemed the guy had been somewhat prepared because he needed to stop the saurians at any cost for those who were putting mankind into despair. At night, the guard leader was seen discussing with a man named Ben, who was the guy's trainer. He went to meet the guard leader and told him that he had important information to relay to him. Although the guard leader did not want to trust a saurian, he considered that maybe what a saurian said could be true, but there was a special boy who would be very important to the guards. When the man got back home, he told the boy, whose name was Rex, that the guards would be coming over to their place that night and that Rex must leave and become an official guard. But Rex insisted that he would not leave because he was fed up listening about guards, so he told the man to leave alone if he wanted to leave. He then angrily left the man standing and walked away due to the pressure he got from the man. He met some people on his way who discussed how Triceratops destroyed the place and how the guards came and settled it in one go. It was a relief to them to live in a world ruled by dinosaurs. And if not for the guards who got rid of the dinosaurs, the people believed that mankind might have already ended. Back at where the man was, he regretted the fact that Rex would walk away because he did not expect it. Although he thought it was too early for him, revealed his past, but the man thought that it is the right time for him to tell Rex everything. And he saw a shadow, and he thought it was Rex, but unfortunately for him, it was saurians who came and hit him asking for the whereabouts of Rex. Just then Rex showed up, and the man told him to quickly run away from the saurians. However, the saurians ran after him, hoping to catch up with him. On their way, they threw things at him, which he was able to dodge, but not long after he was hit directly, which made them thought they could catch him, but Rex still tried to get up, which surprised them. Rex then faced them and asked them what they had done to his trainer. Just then, the leader of the saurians shot at Rex, and they were able to catch him and drag him with them. They then went back to the man, whom they called Ben, and told him to say his last words as they decided to kill him. Ben was about to explain to them about Rex, but they did not listen to him as they focused their attention on Rex, who had been awoken with great power. As Rex stood before the Saurians, his transformation continued to intensify. His eyes, once a deep brown, now glowed with a fiery red hue. The veins on his forehead pulsed with power, and his entire body crackled with red lightning, exuding an aura of raw energy. The Saurians, ancient reptilian creatures who had believed themselves to be the dominant species, were taken aback by this remarkable display. They had always regarded Rex as a mere human, unaware of his true heritage as the last of the Saurus. The Saurians prided themselves on their speed and agility, believing that no human could match their natural abilities. However, Rex's sudden disappearance from his original position startled the Saurians. They scanned the area, bewildered, only to find themselves on the receiving end of an unstoppable attack. With lightning-fast speed, Rex reappeared in front of one of the Saurians, his fist connecting with devastating force. The impact sent shockwaves through the ground as the Saurian was propelled into the earth, leaving a deep crater in its wake. The remaining Saurian was dumbfounded by the display of explosive speed and strength. It watched in awe as Rex swiftly closed the distance between them, charging forward with unparalleled velocity. The Saurian barely had time to react before Rex's fist collided with its scaly chest, launching it backward and crashing into a nearby wall. The sheer power packed into Rex's punch caused the wall to shatter, sending debris flying in all directions. The leader of the Saurians, who had observed the encounter from a distance, recognized that Rex was unlike any other Saurian they had encountered before. His strength and agility far surpassed their expectations. Though the leader remained composed, he knew that a different approach was required to overcome this formidable opponent. Without hesitation, the Saurian leader aimed his pistol at Rex, rapidly firing shots in his direction. The bullets whizzed through the air, leaving a trail of smoke in their wake. With a taunting tone, the leader challenged Rex to dodge the oncoming barrage of bullets, confident in his own marksmanship. Rex cracked with the red lightning again as he dodged through the shots. The leader shot all the bullets until there were none left, and none of the bullets got to Rex, who instantly leaped high and smashed the leader into the ground. He then approached Ben, who was quite injured from the attack by the Saurians earlier. Rex looked at the man for a while, and then he suddenly collapsed to the ground, probably because of the exhaustion that comes after the awakening. The next moment, Rex reverted back to his normal form. Meanwhile, Ben knew that the awakening was still imperfect, knowing that he still had many things to explain as he apologized. He then kneeled down beside Rex. Rex was later seen as he regained consciousness. He felt some pain in his neck, to which he looked around the room and discovered how wrecked the whole place was, not to mention the Saurians, who were all defeated and sprawled around the place. He wondered what could have happened when he lost himself, as he could not remember what he did as soon as he awoke. However, he saw Ben lying on the ground, to which he hurriedly rushed over to where he was as he raised the man up, trying to wake him, but to no avail, as it seems that the old man has breathed his last already. Rex yelled out in pain as he mourned the death of Ben. After a while, Rex made a grave and buried Ben. He recalled that Ben's wish was that he should become a guard, to which he tied Ben's keepsake around his neck, coming to a decision about what to do next. In the middle of the forest, Rex was seen in front of a signpost that he had seen 3 times already when wandering around, which made him wonder if he was lost. However, at that moment he noticed some scuffle in the bush, to which he immediately turned around, searching for what that could be. The next moment, Rex felt a human presence behind him, which jolted him out of fear as he quickly looked around. The person happened to be a boy of about the same age as Rex, who stated that Rex had been going in circles for a while. But then, Rex wondered how the boy was able to get behind him easily, even though he heard the rustling sound. The boy then replied that for a guard like him, having the presence-hiding skill is normal, and that he is a guard recruiter, to be precise. Meanwhile, the guard recruiter continued that a normal person would not be able to go around in the forest like Rex was. When Rex heard what the guard recruiter said, he eagerly stated that he wanted to be a guard, to which the guard recruiter asked about his partner. However, Rex was confused by what the guard recruiter meant by partner, like he replied that he has none. Meanwhile, the guard recruiter explained to him that to be a guard, Rex needed to have a partner to take the exam since guards are made up of 2 systems. When Rex heard this, he contemplated it for a moment. He then suddenly asked the gay recruiter to be his partner, who was shocked by what Rex said since they had just met. However, he continued that a partner needs to be complementary to his style, but then the guard recruiter said that he doesn't have any partners yet, so he might be able to go along with him. He then advised Rex that if he did not want to be dinosaur food, he should stay alert and follow him. However, at that moment, a dinosaur was seen as it suddenly appeared and picked up the guard recruiter. Rex immediately recognized the kind of dinosaur, which happened to be a Utahraptor. The next moment, a group of dinosaurs approached him, and he quickly ran with all his strength. However, after a short while, he got to a tall wall, which is quite high for Rex to scale through. And that's when Rex knew he was in trouble. However, he noticed someone sitting on top of the wall, so Rex immediately shouted for help. The person turned and looked at Rex, to which he threw a grenade at the approaching dinosaurs, which turned into green smoke. Meanwhile, When Rex saw this, he was excited that there was a gas that was much more effective against the dinosaurs because the dinosaurs started to collapse one after the other. However, his happiness was short-lived as he also fell to the ground as soon as he inhaled it. It was at this moment that the person suddenly landed not too far from Rex, looking at his body. The lady then saw him, but Rex could hear his voice from his unconsciousness, and when he woke up, he was worried about where he found himself. That was when Ben called his attention back to running away because of the harmful effects of the dinosaurs. He then saw a power in the form of his shadow appear in his view. All that happened earlier was a dream, which shocked him, and he wondered within himself what the dream could mean to him. Then he remembered that it was because of the gas, as he almost died due to it. The lady, however, let him know that it did not matter since he was still alive, so she asked why the Utahraptor should be loitering in that area. However, Rex still thanked the lady for saving him. He then stood up and was about to leave, which made the lady ask him where he was heading. He then replied to the lady that he needed to leave because he wanted to become a guard. The lady then explained to Rex that she also wanted to become a guard. Meanwhile, Rex thought that they could go together, but she declined, and Rex asked her why it was not possible for them to go together. The lady then informed him that it is not possible for her to walk with a weakling like Rex. Although in her inner mind it is impressive enough for Rex to wake up after inhaling that gas, but he still could not be her partner. She then left Rex as she did not want to be persuaded by him. Rex still did not want to lose the lady because he wanted to fulfill Mr. Ben's wish. He then tried to call the lady's attention, but the lady warned him not to follow her again, as she promised that she would hit Rex for real the next time he tried following her. Rex, however, did not give up as he continued following the lady. Then the lady began to run away from him, while he also took to his race after her, promising himself that he must become a guard with whatever it takes. But when they got a certain place, the lady looked back and shot at Rex, but fortunately for Rex, he was able to dodge the attack as he ran around a wall. Meanwhile, the lady had set a trap for him and he was caught. That was when the lady asked him if he was a zombie, but he replied that he is not. The lady then assured him to come to the front, whereby Rex thought that the lady had accepted him as get partner. But as he moved forward, he was trapped again, that he had to be upside down in the case that his legs were tied up. Rex then started pleading to her to set him free. The lady explained to him that he was caught in a trap she set for large dinosaurs. She also advised Rex that he could not break the rope using strength when she saw that Rex was struggling to get himself freed. Rex continued begging the lady as the pain increased and he could not bear it again, but the lady told him that she would leave without setting Rex free. Rex then used almost all of his power to call back the lady, but the lady wanted to leave before Rex united, being noisy till the end. As the lady was about to leave, a Carnotaurus appeared and Rex begged her to release him, and she turned back. She then shot at the rope she used to tie Rex's legs, and Rex thought that she had agreed to them going together, but she warned him to leave immediately. She then decided to get rid of the Carnotaurus, but unfortunately for her, the key inside the gun was broken, which she did not expect to happen. And when she calculated, she only had 14 seconds to check the gun and reload, which she believed she could do if she concentrated. However, the Carnotaurus had already gotten closer to her, and that was when Rex decided to help. As he helped her drag the Carnotaurus tail, the Carnotaurus wished its tail up, but Rex still held onto it, even though he could get down any time. He then told the lady to find a quick solution as he could not last long dragging the animal back. The lady counted everything that Rex did as extreme recklessness, but she knew that Rex definitely earned some time. She then shot the Carnotaurus and Rex got down. That was when the lady knew that Rex was useful. She then went to him and told him to get up. She then introduced herself as Coco to Rex, and she also approved of what Rex had been asking of her, as she told him that they could go together. Rex was indeed happy, and he also introduced himself to Coco. Coco, however, informed him that she had a condition instead, which was that she must be classified as the captain, and that Rex has to obey everything she says. Rex then told her that the condition was not fair. Coco then left as Rex was not ready to abide by her condition. But when Rex thought over it, he asked her to wait, and he quickly ran after her. As Rex and Coco continued their journey, their path led them past a tantalizing fruit that caught Rex's attention. His eyes lingered on the vibrant colors and succulent appearance, instinctively drawn to its tempting allure. Eagerly, he expressed his desire to taste it, remarking on how delicious it seemed, even though he had never eaten such a fruit before. A trace of drool escaped from the corner of his mouth, betraying his longing. Coco, ever vigilant and focused on their mission, urged Rex to resist the temptation and keep moving. She reminded him of the distance they still had to cover and the importance of staying on track. With concern etched on her face, she questioned why he was fixated on finding a fruit that had gone extinct centuries ago. She cautioned him about the potential dangers and reminded him of their priorities. Rex's hunger gnawed at him, and he insisted that he needed nourishment. He countered Coco's words, stating that he had observed her enjoying a hamburger just moments ago. In his mind, he saw no reason why he should heed her advice when she had indulged herself. The argument presented a challenge to Coco's authority as a leader, causing a momentary flicker of doubt. Coco's response was swift. Her voice was laced with frustration. She stressed that Rex's recklessness and impulsive nature were the reasons he should listen to her. She emphasized the importance of devising a well-thought-out plan before acting, warning him that their survival in every fight depended on their ability to strategize effectively. It was a plea for him to consider the bigger picture and work together as a team. Inwardly, Coco acknowledged the persuasive power that Rex possessed. She recognized his ability to sway her decision-making process, but she knew that their safety and success depended on disciplined actions and careful planning. She believed that if Rex would trust her and follow her lead, their movements would be more effective and their chances of reaching their destination safely would be significantly higher. As their disagreement lingered, a faint sound reached Rex's ears, emanating from a nearby building. The noise piqued his curiosity, but before he could inquire further, Coco issued a command for him to investigate the source. Rex, feeling a mix of uncertainty and determination, asked Coco why she wouldn't accompany him. Her response was simple yet loaded with concern for his safety. She deemed it too dangerous and believed in his ability to handle the situation. Reluctantly, Rex agreed to venture into the building alone, his senses heightened and his heart pounding. Upon entering, he encountered a young boy standing there, seemingly alone and vulnerable. Rex cautiously approached the boy, his protective instincts kicking in. However, in a sudden twist, a voice echoed from behind him, causing Rex to startle. He swiftly turned, ready to defend himself, only to be met with this surprising sight. Coco stood there, a mixture of determination and worry etched on her face. Coco revealed that their mission now extended beyond mere investigation. They needed to save the young boy. Coco's knowledge of the situation sent a shiver down Rex's spine. She explained that their enemy, a Dinosaurs, lurked within the building. Though not as massive as a carnivorous dinosaur, the Dinosaurs possessed formidable fighting abilities that demanded caution and awareness. As Coco outlined their plan to safely save the young boy, she explained that Rex would need to descend and attract the attention of the Dinosaurs. She assured him that they had a strategy in place, but Rex's skepticism caused him to doubt her intentions. He hesitated, unsure if Coco was genuinely trying to protect him or simply using him as a distraction. Just then, the young boy raised his head upon hearing their voices. Mistaking them for the guards he had been expecting, he began speaking, unaware that Rex couldn't understand his words. Rex tried to reassure the boy that they were not guards, hoping to convey that they were there to help. The boy persisted in his assumption, believing that Rex and Coco were the guards who were meant to meet him. Desperation colored his voice as he shared his plight, mentioning that he possessed a valuable item, the fee he had mentioned earlier. He described it as a canned white peach from space, a piece of space food that was remarkably fresh. Rex's heart swelled with empathy as he listened to the boy's words. Determination welled up within him, fueled by the boy's trust in their ability to save him. He vowed to fulfill that trust, assuring the boy that he would indeed rescue him from his predicament. In the midst of their conversation, Coco detected a change in the atmosphere, a sign that they had inadvertently alerted the Dinosaurs to their presence. Time was of the essence, and they needed to act swiftly. Coco urgently warned Rex not to engage with the dinosaur recklessly, but before she could finish her sentence, Rex had already descended, propelled by his desire to protect the young boy. As Rex clung onto the Dinosaurs, desperately trying to maneuver himself and gain an advantage, he realized that its speed far surpassed his own. He shouted for Coco's help, eager to show her his valiant effort. However, Coco's patience had worn thin, and her frustration with Rex's reckless behavior had reached its peak. Amidst the chaos, Rex managed to free himself from the dinosaur's grip. As he surveyed his surroundings, he noticed red marks on his hands, their purpose unclear to him. Confusion washed over him, but when he attempted to move from his position, he discovered that he was immobilized. Panic gripped him as the realization dawned that the Dinosaurs possessed a unique ability. The oil secreted from his body could harden and render its opponents unable to move. Coco, observing Rex's predicament, couldn't help but express her exasperation. She pointed out that this was precisely why he needed to listen to her. Before she could fully explain the situation, Rex had already ventured into danger. Regret tinged his expression as he understood the gravity of his impulsive actions. Coco emphasized the importance of teamwork, trust, and following orders to ensure their success and safety. In the midst of their conversation, Coco redirected her attention towards saving the young boy. Rex pleaded with her to rescue him as well, feeling the piercing gaze of the Dinosaurs upon him. Coco set forth a condition. Rex must promise to always listen to her orders. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Rex swiftly agreed, understanding the need to prioritize their partnership and Coco's guidance. With a quick and precise motion, Coco threw a flashbang, its blinding light reflecting in both Rex's and the dinosaur's eyes. The diversionary tactic created an opportunity for them to rescue Rex from his immobilized state. Acting swiftly, they managed to extricate him from the clutches of the Dinosaurs, averting a potentially dire outcome. At the time, two guards known as White Claw and Big Tom were engaged in a discussion. They expressed their annoyance at Rex and the others for impersonating them due to their late arrival. White Claw noticed their arrogance, but Big Tom reminded him that guard impersonation was a punishable offense. They sought the counsel of another guard named Ruth, asking for advice on how to proceed. Ruth, observing the situation and considering the fact that they were assisting a person in need, didn't perceive them as inherently malicious. Recognizing the gray areas of their actions, he suggested that they let Rex and the others depart. His rationale rested on the belief that their intentions were ultimately good, despite the irregularity of their methods. They moved out when they had saved Rex, and that was when they told him that the guards had taken all the supplies because they came so quickly. Rex regretted that he could not go back again at that time, so Rex thought that they had just wasted their energy saving someone when they should have just gone their ways. The boy then told Rex that he wished he could give him the supplies, but it could not be helped. Suddenly, Rex saw a spear used to dig the ground, and then they looked up and saw 3 hefty-looking men whom they thought might be thieves, telling them that they would sacrifice them because they walked into their territory without fear. The boy they saved earlier then fumbled to the men, saying that Rex and Coco could deal with them, but Rex and Coco did not talk. The men thought that Rex and Coco were guards, which they were good at hunting down, but the men were the Saurians, which made Rex drag the boy back, warning him not to step in like that. Other Saurians came out and started fighting them. Rex did not expect that there would be that many. Just then, he saw Coco holding 2 tools in her hands, and he asked her to give him one of the tools. The Saudis were surprised that Coco had a gun. A giant man among the Saurians then appeared at Coco's back. He then attacked her so that she had to drop the 2 guns in her hands. When Rex saw her, he quickly went to save her as he attacked the man with all his power. But still, the man looked alright, and as the man wanted to slap Rex, he dodged it, which surprised the man. But the man later attacked them, and another Saurian ordered others to tie them up, which they did. They wanted to purify humanity's sincerity by giving guards blood to the dinosaurs as a sacrifice. But as they tied Coco down, she had a bottle in her hand, which she opened and everything exploded. The Saurians could not see anything because it was a smoke bomb, and before everything could be cleared, Rex and Coco had already run away. While they were going, Rex said that he never wanted to fight with the monsters like Bustards again, so he told Coco to let them be fast so they could get far away from them. Later, Rex remembered that they left the other boy there. They then saw the boy as he was being tied up and surrounded by many people. Rex wondered if they were going to give him to the dinosaur, but he concluded that they should leave because their lives were more important than just a reward, and right then, Coco thought of a good idea. One of the Saurians explained that humans who destroyed in the past received a great punishment through the great power of nature, but the survivors could not repent for their sins, so God gave dinosaurs a second chance, and that humans created guards to defy God's will, which was why the Saurians would offer a sacrifice to the great beings, the dinosaurs, through the purification of blood. One of the Saurians was about to sacrifice the boy to the dinosaurs to calm their anger and also to forgive the arrogant humans. Just then, one of the Saurians saw Rex, and they thought of making him regret ever coming back to them, so he decided to kill Rex. But then they noticed that he held something in his hands, which they could not understand what it was meant for, and then one of them realized that it was a baby Triceratops. But before Rex could reach where the Saurians were, he was attacked by the monsters, and he regretted wanting to save the boy. When the Saurians confirmed that it was a Triceratops, they decided to run away for their lives, but they were still attacked, and right then, Coco went to save the boy, who had trusted the fact that they would not leave him alone. Coco saves the boy. When Rex saw that they had been safely rescued, he thought of a way he needed to escape too, because he was the only one they ordered to do the dangerous part, but he wondered if he had met the monstrous animal that attacked him earlier. Just then, the giant Saurian told him not to go, and before he could try to escape, the Saurian began attacking him. But as the Saurian kept on torturing Rex, he noticed that Rex still had more guts than he thought because he should have fainted or been unconscious. Coco quickly told Rex to use the weapon she gave him earlier, which he had forgotten to use before. Rex remembered that Coco gave it to him when he did not want to face the Saurians. The weapon was used by the previous military, and it was a photon particle cannon. Coco explained to him earlier that the baby could kill the enemy in one shot, but it overheated, so he needed to wait a long time until he could use it again, and Coco advised him to use it when there was an emergency. When he remembered about the weapon, he took it and promised to end the giant Saurian with it. Then he used the weapon to attack the giant Saurian, and the giant Saurian fell down. That was when Rex believed that the weapon could shoot down his enemy. As he was still standing, he saw some other Saurians who were planning to attack him, but he escaped before they could reach where he was, and Rex left with Coco and the boy. However, Rex thought that it was his plan that worked for them to be able to escape, but he noticed some countenance, which made him ask Coco what happened. Still, Coco did not say anything while Rex continued with his talk as he explained to Coco that the weapon was great and that it was a bit unfortunate for him to be able to use the weapon only once, so he told Coco to try to make the weapon more daring next time, but Coco told him that it was a gun and that she was trying to save the baby for later, but she wondered how Rex broke it. Rex looked surprised because he did not know there was a gun. He blamed Coco for not informing him about it earlier, and Coco said that she already knew Rex was an idiot, but she never expected that he would be that stupid. Rex then explained to Coco that nothing matters anymore as the gun killed the giant Saurian in one shot. Coco then drew his attention to the fact that they would start to meet more dangerous people like the Saudis, Rex then begged Coco to give him something also, but Coco told him to find his own, and Rex got angry at Coco's reply. They eventually reached Boontown, whereby Rex admired every activities he saw in the town. Coco then asked him if that was first time of seeing a town, and Rex nodded, but he explained that when he was young, Mr. Ben told him to avoid populated places, whereby he did not understood why Mr. Ben warned him against that. Coco then promised him first-grade curry if he followed her. The boy then asked if Rex had not eaten the curry before, and the boy promised Rex that he would like it, but he was served the curry. He did not seem to like it, as he told them that he only expected canned fruits and not what they presented to him. But he later decided to try it, but when he tasted it, he loved it and he asked if he could get more of it. Coco then stood up and left, but Rex tried to call her back and tell her to finish her own portion of the potion, and Coco made him realize that she was going to fix the weapon he broke earlier. Rex then used the opportunity to ask if he could also eat Coco's portion. On Coco's way, she met some people whom she asked where she could find a large theropod like a Tyrannosaurus, but one of the men asked her why she was trying to find a monster like that because normal villagers tend to avoid where theropods live, so it is hard to see them at that time. But as they were still discussing, they heard some people calling for an emergency because the Syrians had arrived. Meanwhile, when Rex and Coco escaped from the Saurians on their way to Boontown, one of the Saurians saw them and went back to report their whereabouts to the other Saurians. So when the Saurians got to Boontown, they confirmed with that Saurian if he was true about the information he gave them. The Saurian leader then ordered his subjects to go and find Rex in the town, and that they should bring Rex to him alive without killing him because the leader believed that Rex was his and would torture him the way he liked it. As the emergency announcement echoed through the air, Coco's instincts kicked into high gear. She swiftly retraced her steps, racing back to where Rex was. Breathing heavily, she urgently informed him about the imminent arrival of the Saurians. Understanding the gravity of the situation, she implored Rex to leave immediately, leaving the young boy behind. With a heavy heart, the boy pleaded with him to save his town, but Coco, driven by the need to ensure their own safety, could only drag Rex away, leaving the boy alone and vulnerable. Meanwhile, the Saurians fanned out across the town, their singular objective being to find Rex at all costs. Their search led them to a particular location where Rex and Coco had recently been seen. Approaching a man who happened to be present, they interrogated him, desperate for any information on the whereabouts of the two guards. They described Rex and Coco in detail, hoping that the man's memory could provide them with a clue. The man, trembling with fear, insisted that he knew nothing, pleading for his life. The Syrians hesitated, contemplating their next move, torn between their desire for information and the fear instilled in the man before them. In the midst of their escape, Coco's acute hearing caught the distant cries of innocent people, their pleas for mercy piercing her heart. She turned to Rex, determination etched on her face, expressing her deep concern for the innocent lives endangered by their presence. Coco emphasized the importance of taking responsibility for the people whose lives were at stake. Rex, his mouth still filled with the curry he had brought along, looked at Coco quizzically, questioning her plan of action. Without hesitation, Coco assured him that she had a solid plan in mind. As Rex boldly appeared before the Saurians, he taunted them, daring them to catch him, confident in their inevitable failure. The Saurians exchanged quick glances, their excitement evident as they relayed the news of their find. But before they could react, Rex took off in a sprint, leaving them stunned in his wake. Determined not to let their prey slip away, the Saurians gave chase, their footsteps echoing through the town. In the midst of the pursuit, one of the Saurians broke away from the group, rushing back to their captain to deliver the news of Rex and Coco's attempted escape. The captain listened intently, her mind calculating the potential implications of their actions. With a resolute tone, she ordered the Saurians to continue following Rex, their primary target. As the Saurians closed in on Rex, their confidence grew. However, to their astonishment, their prey had prepared a trap that lay in their path. Caught off guard, they stumbled and fell, momentarily disoriented. Undeterred, they mustered their resolve and attempted to regain control of the situation. Yet, as they pressed forward, their eyes widened in disbelief. Before them stood 3 sets of guns, cleverly positioned as a deadly trap. The realization struck them too late as the trap was sprung, unleashing a barrage of bullets. The Saurians were swiftly incapacitated, their bodies falling to the ground. As the chaos subsided and the dust settled, Coco's sense of calm remained. Everything had gone according to plan, or so she thought. However, their victory was short-lived as one Saurian managed to survive the deadly trap. Filled with rage and a desire for revenge, the Saurian locked eyes with Rex, challenging him to a fight. With no other option but to defend himself, Rex braced for the confrontation. The Syrians launched a ferocious attack and a fierce battle ensued. Rex, fueled by determination and a will to survive, fought back with all his strength. His movements were swift and calculated, evading the Saurians' strikes, while searching for an opportunity to escape. Despite Rex's valiant efforts, the Saurians relentlessly pursued him, refusing to let go of their desire for vengeance. It seemed as though the Saurians' thirst for blood overshadowed any rational thought. Rex, aware of the danger he faced, mustered every ounce of strength and resilience within him, determined to find a way out. In a moment of desperation, Rex managed to gain the upper hand, overpowering the Saurian and turning the tables. He held the Saurian upside down, exerting control and administering punishment until the Saurian lost consciousness. Rex, recognizing the danger the Saurian posed, urged Coco to leave, disturbed by the Saurian's vile actions and the pain inflicted upon him. However, to Rex's surprise, the Saurian quickly regained consciousness, rising to his feet. With the newfound power coursing through his veins, the Saurian claimed it was a gift bestowed upon him by a higher power, a power that he intended to wield to annihilate Rex. Coco, observing the Saurian's transformation, noticed that one of his arms resembled that of a dinosaur, infused with the strength of a mighty theropod. The Saurian focused his rage on Rex, intent on tearing him apart. But Rex, driven by sheer determination and a survival instinct that had grown within him, reacted swiftly. He countered the Saurian's assault with a display of speed and precision, surprising the Saurian with his deftness. In a bold move, Rex managed to sever the Saurian's power-infused arm, catching his opponent off guard. The Saurian's confidence shattered, his plans crumbling before him. Rex's resourcefulness and resilience exceeded his expectations. The Saurian, who had not accompanied Rex during his previous encounter with the others, arrived to meet his colleagues with a sense of urgency etched on his face. He informed them that he had vital information to report, causing a stir among the Saudis. Speculation arose, with some suggesting that another brother had emerged, potentially the one responsible for the destruction of their search lab. However, one Saurian interjected, asserting that the supposed brother was dead, leaving them puzzled and seeking answers. The mention of their father's potential knowledge of the situation sent shivers down their spines. They were aware of the consequences of lying to Anturk, a figure who commanded both respect and fear. Anturk himself issued a chilling warning, vowing to tear apart anyone who dared to deceive him. The informant, however, reassured Anturk that he could not lie, citing casualties on their side as proof of the truth. A Saurian named Raptor responded with a twisted sense of satisfaction, declaring the situation to be bloody perfect. Amidst their conversation, another Saudi named Noten interjected, correcting their assumption that the boy they believed to be dead was, in fact, alive. The revelation sent shockwaves through their ranks, prompting a command to seek out and confront him. Their desire for vengeance burned within them, fueling their determination to locate Rex and make him pay for their perceived transgressions. As Rex stirred from his sleep, his mind still clouded by fragments of dreams, he found himself facing Coco's familiar face. Confusion mingled with surprise as he struggled to remember the events that had transpired. Coco, sensing his bewilderment, gently explained that in a critical moment, Rex had valiantly captured the leader of the Saurians, defying all odds. Despite having fallen unconscious, he had managed to wake up once again, showcasing a resilience that even he found hard to comprehend. Rex's disbelief in his own capabilities lingered, his lack of memory leaving him in a state of uncertainty. As Coco abruptly announced the end of their partnership, Rex felt a surge of panic wash over him. He called out to her, desperately seeking an explanation for her sudden decision. Coco turned to face him, her expression a mixture of concern and caution. She warned Rex that he had a problem involving the Saurians, a problem she did not wish to become entangled in. Confusion etched itself across Rex's face as he attempted to reason with Coco, pleading for her to reconsider. He emphasized that he was not a Saudi, hoping to convince her that he posed no threat. Rex's words were laced with sincerity and a hint of vulnerability as he yearned to keep their partnership intact. After a moment of contemplation, Coco's expression softened as she began to grasp Rex's perspective. She acknowledged that he was indeed not a Saurian, and with a resigned sigh, she agreed to let him deal with the Saurians on his own. However, she added two conditions to her agreement. First, she requested that Rex bring her an egg from the nest of the elusive Pentosaurus, as she got a craving for an egg-based dish. Rex raised an eyebrow, questioning Coco's insistence on stealing yet again. In response, Coco framed it as a test, urging Rex to consider it a trial of his abilities. Rex, understanding Coco's intentions, nodded reluctantly. He knew he had to prove himself and resolve the Saurian situation while fulfilling Coco's conditions. With determination in his eyes, he set off in search of the Pentosaurus nest, hoping to secure the prize egg for his partner. However, little did Rex know that Coco's claim of a nearby Pentosaurus nest was a fabrication. Coco, aware of Rex's unwavering determination and desire to please her, realized that he would not listen to reason. Time was of the essence, and Coco needed to focus on her goal of becoming a guard. She made the difficult decision to leave before Rex returned, the echoes of her footsteps fading into the distance. In the stillness of her surroundings, Coco's senses picked up a noise that caused her heart to skip a beat. Relief washed over her as she realized it was not Rex approaching, but an innocent animal. However, her relief was short-lived as Rex suddenly emerged from behind, his curiosity evident. Coco's brow furrowed as she questioned whether he had brought what she had asked for. To Coco's surprise, Rex admitted that he was unfamiliar with the Pentosaurus and sought her guidance. But Coco told him to let them deal with the dinosaur, and after that, Rex would go back to find the egg. Rex doubted if Coco would be able to deal with the dinosaur, but Coco replied to him that a shot on the head was enough because it was a middle-class dinosaur. She then targeted the dinosaur and shot it. She then left, and Rex wondered why she did not wait for him. Coco then replied to him that he should not have touched the rifle, and she promised herself that she would not forgive Rex. She then left and did not answer Rex, but on her way she saw a saurian who wanted to crush her with a heavy stone. As the saurus raised the larger boulder, intent on crushing Coco beneath its weight, a glimmer of defiance flickered in her eyes. Sensing an opportunity to defuse the situation, Coco beckoned for Saurus to halt his actions. Intrigued and curious about Coco's intentions, the young Saurus hesitated, lowering the boulder slightly. Coco's voice carried a hint of determination as she calmly addressed the Saurus. She acknowledged that if he wished to crush her with the boulder, he had every right to do so. However, she added a cryptic twist to her words, revealing that her body was adorned with an assortment of weapons and explosives. Her gaze locked onto the Saurus, her unwavering resolve shining through. Intrigued and wary, the Saurus absorbed Coco's words, grappling with the implications of her threat. The image of her flying 500 meters away, courtesy of the bomb she claimed to possess, lingered in his mind. The weight of potential consequences gave him pause, causing him to rethink his next move. With a trembling hand, he released his grip on the boulder, allowing it to crash to the ground. The Saurus revealed that he had been instructed to capture Coco alive, and disobedience would lead to a severe reprimand. Fear of the consequences gripped him, overpowering his initial desire to harm Coco. He chuckled nervously, realizing the futility of his attempts to carry out his orders. Accepting his defeat, the Saurus declared that he would go and fetch the others, leaving Coco in her current predicament. An air of confidence permeated his laugh, aware that Coco was trapped within a deep pit from which escape seemed impossible. With a final glance, he departed, the echoes of his laughter lingering in the air. As Coco breathed a sigh of relief, a sense of gratitude washed over her. She had successfully deceived the Saurus with her fabricated claims of weapons and explosives, providing a temporary advantage in their encounter. Although she had discarded those non-existent weapons earlier, she was relieved that the Saurus had fallen for her ruse. Turning her attention to the wall of the pit, Coco realized the urgency of her situation. She needed to find a way to escape before Saurus returned with his companions. Her hands traced the rough texture of the pit's enclosure, searching for any footholds or crevices that could aid her ascent. Determination coursed through her veins as she resolved to overcome the physical barriers that held her captive. However, her focus was interrupted by the sound of a familiar voice calling her name. The voice carried a sense of concern and familiarity, which Coco instantly recognized. She replied, advising the person not to approach, not wanting them to be entangled in her dangerous predicament. Unfazed by Coco's warning, the person persisted, expressing their determination to come to her aid. It was none other than Rex, whose unwavering loyalty and courage shone through in his voice. Ignoring Coco's plea, he declared his intent to save her, his resolve unwavering. In a split second, Rex crashed into the pit, his descent punctuated by the sound of impact as he landed on the ground. Undeterred by the fall, he swiftly regained his footing, his determination radiating from every fiber of his being. However, when Coco saw his reckless behavior, she facepalmed herself. Meanwhile, Coco was frustrated that even when she told Rex not to come over, he eventually fell into the pit as well. Rex then brought a gun, which he showed Coco, telling her that he brought it and they could use it to get out of the place. Coco then snatched the gun from him as she looked the other way. She then said that she was sorry, but she would be the only one escaping since she had told him not to come, but he eventually came. Coco was then seen pulling the trigger of the gun. Meanwhile, Rex was trying to explain something to her. However, Coco was wondering what could be wrong with the gun as it wasn't working. However, Rex yelled, "Why was she so mean?" But then Coco did not reply to him. She sat on the ground as she checked out what could be wrong with the gun. Rex then asked if she was angry that he broke the gun, and that is not what they should be after now as their lives are at risk. However, Coco did not reply to him, which infuriated Rex a lot, who then yelled at her, asking if the gun was more important than their lives. This statement prompted Coco to slap Rex hard on the cheek, saying that she would never accept him talking about her gun like that because that is the only thing left of the person she loves, to which she sat down again and continued what she was doing. Rex held his cheek as he said, how could he have known something like that unless she told him? He then sat on the ground as he faced the opposite direction, saying that he did not care and that Coco could do as she liked. This was how they were until it turned dark and the crescent moon was seen in the sky. After some moments, Coco then said that the gun Rex broke was her big sister's gun, and that she grew up in a small village in the mountains. The village was far from carnivorous dinosaurs, so it was a comfortable place, but one day, a carnivorous dinosaur that no one had ever seen suddenly appeared, and it ended up eating up her whole village, and her big sister died protecting her from the dinosaur, so she took her sister's belongings and she only had one goal from there onward, and that for Rex must have been just any gun. But for her, it's something she cannot even exchange her life for. When Rex heard this, he thought of Ben again, so he apologized to Coco, saying that he didn't know what she went through and wouldn't be bothersome anymore. Coco accepted his apologies and stated that she was going to let him escape with her from the pit, but as soon as they got out of there, they would be going their separate ways. Rex agreed to what she said. Meanwhile, Coco told him that she would go up first, then throw the gun down. Coco was seen as she successfully got out of the pit, where she passed the gun to Rex, who almost thought that Coco might betray him. However, he also came out of the pit, and to his surprise, he met the Saurus, who had already returned with his companions and had Coco taken with them. The lady Saurian that came with the previous Saurian discovered that it was Rex, whom she referred to as brother. Coco, recognizing the dire predicament they faced, urged Rex to escape while they still had the chance. However, Rex's furies surged within him, fueled by the fact that Coco was being held captive by the Saurians. In a fit of unyielding determination, Rex disregarded Coco's pleas and charged headlong towards their captors, his rage consuming him. Reacting swiftly, the female Saurian took aim at Rex, her finger tightening around the trigger. She taunted him, asserting her knowledge that sheer strength would not be enough to overcome him. In a calculated move, she fired a shot laced with a paralytic poison, designed to slowly immobilize and ultimately lead to death within a span of 52 hours. The potent venom coursed through Rex's body, threatening to render him powerless. The female Saurian coldly emphasized that Rex's status as a comrade would not exempt him from the poison's deadly effects. She presented him with a grim ultimatum, offering an antidote that would save his life if he chose to comply and follow them obediently. The weight of the decision hung heavy in the air, forcing Rex to confront the harsh reality that he had been pushed into a corner with his life hanging in the balance. As the paralytic poison coursed through Rex's body, the effects began to manifest, causing his chest to throb with increasing intensity. The venomous substance invaded his system, spreading its paralyzing tendrils with relentless determination. Amidst the tense situation, the Saurian who had earlier referred to the Lady Saurian as the captain sought guidance on what to do with Coco. Misinterpreting his words, the captain mistakenly believed that the Saurian was referring to Rex. In a chilling response, she callously dismissed Coco's value, deeming her useless and suggesting that she should be killed. Rex's heart surged with protective instincts, and his voice trembled with defiance. He adamantly declared that the Saurians should not lay a hand on Coco, emphasizing that she had no involvement in his plight. Determined to shield her from harm, Rex attempted to move forward, defying the growing weakness that clouded his vision and impeded his movements. However, before Rex could make any significant progress, a Saurian swiftly swung their club with brutal force, striking Rex's body. The impact reverberated through his weakened frame, intensifying the agony that had already gripped him. The Saurian taunted Rex, asserting that he seemed unaware of the dire situation he was in. They revealed their intention to keep him alive, but subjected him to relentless beatings until he no longer teetered on the precipice of death. Despite the excruciating pain and the overwhelming odds stacked against him, Rex's spirit burned bright within him. He refused to succumb to the paralysis that threatened to claim his body and render him helpless. With sheer determination, he managed to summon the strength to rise from the ground, his every movement a testament to his unwavering willpower. The Saurians stood in stunned disbelief, their eyes widening in shock as they witnessed Rex's tenacity and resilience. Even after the paralytic shot had coursed through his veins, Rex defied all expectations, defying the grip of the poison that sought to extinguish his life. Within Rex's indomitable spirit, thoughts of Coco surged forward. He couldn't bear the thought of her being caught in this dangerous predicament because of him. The burning desire to protect her and fulfill their shared dream of becoming guards provided the fuel that propelled Rex forward, even in the face of insurmountable odds. With tremendous effort, Rex managed to snatch Coco away from the clutches of the Saurians, whose escape was fraught with danger and uncertainty. However, their respite would be short-lived as the captain confidently declared that Rex wouldn't be able to elude her grasp for long, boasting of her possession of the vaccine that could counteract the paralytic poison. The weight of their situation hung heavily in the air as Rex and Coco sought refuge in an abandoned building. Inside the dilapidated structure, Rex's weakened body succumbed to exhaustion and he slipped into an unconscious state. Coco's anger simmered beneath the surface, a mixture of frustration and concern for Rex's reckless actions. The room echoed with her restless pacing, her mind consumed with worry for her companion. In a feeble attempt to communicate, Rex managed to muster the strength to call out to Coco. He reached out to her, placing the gun in her trembling hands, and apologized for his inability to retrieve the rifle. Coco's heart ached at the sight of Rex's frailty, yet his determination remained unyielding even in his weakened state. As dawn broke, Coco embarked on a mission to gather supplies. With determination etched on her face, she ventured into the surrounding area, returning with a cache of weapons carefully acquired from various sources. With each weapon meticulously arranged, Coco geared up, her eyes gleaming with fierce resolve. Under the cover of darkness, the male Saurian yawned and stretched, unaware of the impending danger that lurked behind him. In a calculated move, Coco materialized behind the unsuspecting Saurian, her gun trained on his nape. She commanded his silence and compliance, compelling him to lead her to the captain's whereabouts. The Saurian, realizing the gravity of the situation, cautiously raised his hands and proceeded to approach the area where the others were gathered. Confusion flickered across the faces of the other Saurians as they observed the unusual sight, pondering the intentions of their comrades' unexpected behavior. In the blink of an eye, their curiosity turned to alarm as they recognized the intruder in their midst. A surge of adrenaline propelled Coco forward, her fingers squeezing the trigger as she swiftly eliminated the Saurian who had led her there. The room erupted in chaos as the Saurians scrambled to sound the alarm, their attempts to thwart Coco's infiltration thwarted by her lethal accuracy. Coco meticulously prepared herself for the impending attack, aware of the risks she was about to face. Moments later, a group of Saurians, their forms imposing and menacing, gathered together. They expressed their belief that Coco must be prepared to face them alone, assuming she possessed a formidable plan. However, to their surprise, Coco surrendered herself willingly, stunning the group with her unexpected action. Baffled by her decision, the Saurians questioned Coco's motives for coming to their territory. In response, she asserted that they should not misunderstand her intentions. She clarified that she hadn't come to engage in combat, but rather to negotiate with their captain. This revelation caught the attention of the group, which was intrigued by the possibility of a different outcome. Coco, now escorted by the Saurians, was led to where the captain resided. She remained composed despite the weight of the situation. Once in the presence of the captain, Coco made a daring proposition. She declared that she would disclose Rex's whereabouts, but on one condition. She demanded the return of her rifle. It was a calculated move, a negotiation strategy that aimed to leverage her knowledge in exchange for the restoration of her powerful weapon. The captain, initially taken aback by Coco's statement, listened intently. The implications of her words were unexpected, leading the captain to question her motives further. Coco clarified that her mention of killing Rex was merely a facade meant to deceive and maintain her cover. She assured the captain that she had no personal plans or desire to harm Rex. Intrigued and somewhat relieved, the captain pressed for more information. Coco elaborated, explaining that Rex was under close surveillance due to orders they had received. However, she emphasized that her personal attachment to Rex's fate was negligible. While Coco didn't express concern for his well-being, her intentions were not driven by malice. She navigated a delicate line, revealing enough to establish her credibility while maintaining the illusion of her detachment. The captain, grappling with conflicting emotions, weighed Coco's words carefully. The revelation that Coco had willingly surrendered herself and negotiated Rex's location piqued the captain's curiosity. The intricate dance between trust, manipulation, and loyalty played out in their interaction. As the tense conversation unfolded, Coco's true intentions remained shrouded, hidden beneath layers of calculated strategy and carefully chosen words. Her aim was to navigate this perilous encounter, leveraging her knowledge and skills to protect her own interests while maintaining a delicate balance between her loyalty to her mission and the evolving bond she shared with Rex. As the captain's words echoed in Coco's ears, her surprise quickly turned to dread. The captain's chilling instructions to confiscate her belongings and lock her away, only to face a sacrificial fate at dawn, sent shivers down her spine. Coco found herself being escorted by a guard, her mind racing with thoughts of escape and survival. However, two Saurians intercepted Coco on her way to captivity. They demanded that she hand over all the weapons concealed beneath her ghillie suit. Realizing she had only one chance to turn the tables, Coco complied with their request. To their astonishment, a plethora of pistols and ammunition spilled forth from her suit, revealing the extent of her armament. With a sly smile, Coco explained that it was her Manhwa license, a term she coined to justify her extensive arsenal. The atmosphere grew tense as Coco's actions caught the guards off guard. However, their surprise was short-lived as an unexpected notification spread throughout the area, announcing Coco's escape. The captain wasted no time, issuing urgent orders to her subordinates and commanding them to spare no effort in locating Coco. Meanwhile, concealed behind a mask, Coco silently contemplated the turn of events. She realized that the Saurians had rejected her proposed deal, but she had not anticipated their intention to eliminate her before dawn. In a twisted stroke of luck, their premature decision inadvertently played into her hands, making her escape more manageable than she had initially imagined. Seizing the opportunity, Coco took action. With determination in her eyes, she charged towards the astonished Saurians. In one swift motion, she dropped a smoke bomb, shrouding the immediate area in a thick haze. Utilizing the element of surprise, Coco swiftly drew her gun, the deafening sound of gunfire echoing through the smoke as she skillfully eliminated her would-be captors. As Coco swiftly moved through the dimly lit corridors, her instincts honed for survival, she barged into a room filled with Saurians. With unwavering resolve, she skillfully dispatched the Saurians in a flurry of lethal precision, their bodies falling lifelessly to the ground. In a calculated move, Coco located the electric switch and swiftly turned it off, plunging the entire area into darkness. Amidst the chaos, one of the Saurians spotted something glinting on the floor. Curiosity getting the better of him, he reached down to pick it up, only to trigger a devastating explosion. The glass rippled through the room, engulfing it in a fiery display of destruction. Coco's strategic placement of the bomb caught the Saurians off guard. further solidifying her reputation as a resourceful and formidable adversary. Emerging from the wreckage, Coco found herself face-to-face with a saurian in a robotic body, a formidable foe intent on attacking her. Reacting with lightning-fast reflexes, Coco deftly evaded a powerful slash aimed at her, narrowly escaping the deadly strike. In response, she unleashed a barrage of shots from her weapon, each one seemingly ineffective against the saurian's armored exterior. Despite this setback, Coco's determination remained unyielding, and she quickly devised a new plan of attack. With a calculated maneuver, Coco strategically exploited a weakness in the saurian's defenses, delivering a decisive blow that incapacitated the robotic menace. Victory surged through her veins as she stood triumphant over her fallen adversary. In the midst of the battle, the captain, having witnessed Coco's tenacity and strategic prowess, emerged from the shadows. With a steely gaze, the captain acknowledged that she had sensed something amiss, suspecting that Coco had intentionally allowed herself to be captured. She warned Coco not to harbor any illusions of escape, asserting her unwavering vigilance. The sun shines brightly over the whole place, where the saurian corpses are littered all around. Inside the confines of an abandoned building, Rex abruptly jolted awake, his heart pounding in his chest. He instinctively sat up, his mind filled with concern for Coco, his trusted companion and friend. As his gaze darted around the room, relief flooded through him as he noticed that his wound had been treated and the telltale signs of an antidote's administration were evident. His attention shifted to Coco, who lay nearby, her body marked with bloodstains, clear evidence of her recent intense battle. A surge of gratitude and admiration overwhelmed Rex as he realized that Coco had risked her own well-being to protect him. Touched by her unwavering loyalty, he approached her slowly, careful not to disturb her slumber. In the midst of his cautious approach, Coco emitted a soft purr in her sleep, a gentle sound that reassured Rex of her well-being. Surprised and relieved, Rex halted his movements, recognizing that Coco was about to awaken. In a swift motion, he positioned himself by her side, feigning sleep, his eyes squinting to catch a glimpse of her as she opened her eyes. Coco's eyes fluttered open, revealing a mix of exhaustion and determination on her face. Sensing Rex's presence, she turned her head to find him lying there, seemingly asleep. Concern etched onto her features, she reached out to check on him, her gaze lingering on his wound, now properly treated. With a sigh of relief, Coco rose from her spot, ready to attend to her own needs. Rex, however, couldn't contain his gratitude any longer. He sat up, his voice filled with appreciation, and thanked her for administering the much-needed antidote. Before he could finish expressing his gratitude, Coco swiftly threw a weapon towards him, its trajectory expertly aimed at his cheek. The weapon struck Rex's cheek, causing him to cry out in pain, his hand instinctively rising to the affected area. Coco's voice cut through the air, tinged with a mixture of sternness and frustration, as she admonished him for acting on his own. She revealed that she had endured a tumultuous night, traversing dangerous terrain and battling saurians, all because of his impulsive actions. Rex winced, his cheek throbbing from the impact, but he knew deep down that Coco's punishment was justified. He had acted without considering the consequences, putting both himself and Coco in harm's way. Regret washed over him as he realized the weight of his actions and the burden Coco had borne on his behalf. Despite the discomfort caused by the weapon hitting his cheek, Rex swallowed his pride and acknowledged Coco's words. He understood the magnitude of the mess he had created and the toll it had taken on her. He couldn't help but feel a sense of guilt for the trouble he had caused, knowing that Coco had worked tirelessly to clean up his reckless actions. Coco's warning echoed in his mind as she emphasized the importance of listening to her guidance. She explained that the weapon she had thrown at him was intentionally blunt, meant to teach him a lesson and prevent him from further damaging her precious guns. Rex nodded solemnly, understanding the value of her weapons and the need to respect her equipment. Meanwhile, elsewhere, the saurians continued their reign of terror, their captives bound to a long pole. One of the humans, whose head was covered, began speaking, recounting events from 200 years ago. He mentioned that humans who had taken nature for granted ultimately faced destruction at the hands of natural disasters such as earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions. The human expressed a desire for the remaining humans to atone for their sins, but lamented that they had failed to do so. The saurian, in his frustration evident, pounded his fists against a nearby surface. He expressed his annoyance towards those who failed to understand the ways of the gods. According to his beliefs, the saurians, as the messengers of the gods, had been sent back to Earth to tame and punish the disobedient humans. It was their duty to enforce the will of the gods and bring retribution on those who strayed from the righteous path. The saurian raised his hands towards the sky, seemingly appealing to the gods. In response, the saurian's followers chanted fervently, their voices filled with fervor and the belief that humans should be eliminated. In their eyes, it was a divine decree, a commandment that they felt compelled to carry out. In the midst of the spectacle, a figure emerged, referred to by the people as the Apostle. This particular saurian held a position of authority and reverence among the others. As he stepped forward, a hush fell over the crowd, their gazes fixated on him with reverence and fear. The Apostle possessed an air of power and wisdom that commanded respect, and his every word carried weight among the saurians. The atmosphere crackled with excitement as the people laid eyes on the apostle for the first time. Their collective anticipation was palpable, a mixture of reverence and curiosity. Though they had never seen him before, the tales of his authority and connection to the gods had spread far and wide, fueling their eager anticipation. With an air of command, the apostle directed a massive dinosaur, a fearsome creature under his control, to carry out his bidding. The dinosaur moved with calculated precision, its massive frame looming over the bound humans. The crowd erupted in a mix of cheers and jeers as they witnessed the gruesome display. For the followers of the Saurians, it was a spectacle that affirmed their faith and justified their allegiance. Meanwhile, the apostle made his way back to a secluded room, where his trusted companions awaited him. In this private chamber, they openly acknowledged the absence of true gods, yet they recognized the power of faith and the hold it had over the people. They conspired to exploit the fervent beliefs of the followers to establish themselves as the deities of this new world, using the faith placed in them to elevate their own status and control. Amidst their plotting, a man named Raptor, dressed in a distinctive red shirt, he held a position of authority and seemed to have a keen understanding of the intricate dynamics at play. Raptor's subordinate informed him of the destruction of Branch 8, where the other brother had been discovered. The news stirred a sense of urgency within Raptor as he realized that time was running out and he needed to act swiftly. Recognizing the potential ramifications if their rivals uncovered certain secrets, Raptor expressed his realization that he had no choice but to intervene. It became apparent that the situation was reaching a critical turning point and Raptor's involvement would be crucial in shaping the outcome. With a steely resolve, Raptor prepared to make his move, fully aware of the high stakes involved. As Coco and Rex continued their walk, a group of small dinosaurs caught their attention. These tiny creatures roamed around the area, their presence adding a touch of wonder to the surroundings. The sight brought a sense of joy to Rex, who couldn't contain his excitement about walking alongside Coco. He expressed how reassuring it felt to be in her company, cherishing the bond they were forming. Curious about Rex's strength outbursts, Coco felt the need to further understand his abilities and the conditions that triggered them. With a gentle yet firm strike on his head using an iron pole, she explained that she still needed to observe and analyze the circumstances under which these bursts of strength occurred, their duration, and the reasons behind them. Coco emphasized that gaining this knowledge was essential not only for herself, but also for Rex's understanding of his own capabilities. Rex, taken aback by Coco's unconventional teaching methods, couldn't help but protest, exclaiming that it didn't give her the right to hit him arbitrarily. Coco acknowledged her mistake. Realizing that her approach had been misguided, she retrieved her gun and aimed it at Rex, suggesting that perhaps the trigger for his extraordinary strength might lie in life-threatening situations. Rex's shock and disbelief were evident as he responded, labeling Coco's actions as crazy. Maintaining her nonchalant demeanor, Coco defended her actions, explaining that everything she did was for Rex's own good. She believed that pushing him to his limits and exposing him to challenging circumstances would ultimately help him harness and control his strength. Coco's unorthodox methods stemmed from a deep desire to ensure Rex's growth and unlock his untapped potential. In the midst of a town, a group of people gathered, their attention focused on a young boy named Michael. Among them were 3 individuals who took it upon themselves to belittle and bully him, extinguishing any flicker of hope he had in becoming a guard. Mockingly, they told him to abandon his futile dreams and face the harsh reality of his limitations. Despite his meek demeanor, Michael mustered the courage to respond, countering their disparaging remarks. He firmly stated that if they were able to discover the weaknesses of the dinosaurs, victory was within their reach. He even revealed that the red-haired boy among his tormentors had once shared the same aspiration of becoming a guard. However, the red-haired boy, filled with resentment, forcefully grabbed Michael and pulled him closer, dismissing his words with a cruel conviction. As the red-haired boy asserted that he had long discarded his dreams, Michael, driven by frustration and determination, struck back. In a swift motion, he aimed a powerful blow at the red-haired boy's groin, causing him to recoil in excruciating pain. Seizing the opportunity, Michael fled from his tormentors, squeezing through a small hole in the wall that led outside the town. The astonished bullies watched helplessly as Michael made his escape. The red-haired boy, seething with anger and embarrassment, roared in agony and immediately commanded his companions to pursue Michael. Determined not to let him slip away, they hurriedly ventured outside the confines of the town, determined to capture the boy who dared to challenge their authority. The chase began as the red-haired boy and his allies scoured the surroundings in search of Michael. Their steps echoed through the streets and alleys, their determination driving them forward. Meanwhile, Michael, fueled by a mixture of fear and adrenaline, maneuvered through unfamiliar terrain, attempting to put as much distance as possible between himself and his pursuers. Unbeknownst to the bullies, Michael's escape through the small hole had granted him temporary respite. He had managed to find a path leading beyond the town's borders, venturing into uncharted territory. The red-haired boy and his companions, fueled by their desire to exert dominance, pressed on, their frustration growing as they realized the difficulty of their task. As the pursuit intensified, the dynamic between the tormentors and their target took on new dimensions. Michael's desperate flight symbolized his refusal to succumb to the negativity and limitations imposed on him. He sought to defy the oppressive forces that had tried to crush his dreams and find his own path towards becoming a guard. As the red-haired boy ventured deeper into the unknown, he realized his companion's hesitation to continue the pursuit. Frustration and anger boiled within him, and he lashed out, berating them for their perceived cowardice and uselessness. He declared that he would press on alone, refusing to admit defeat like the rest. Reluctantly, the other two boys conceded, their fear outweighing their loyalty to their hot-headed companion, and they reluctantly turned back toward the town. Left to his own devices, the red-haired boy trudged forward, his determination clouded by a nagging feeling of regret. Doubt gnawed at him as he questioned his decision to trust those he now deemed cowards. Unbeknownst to him, danger lurked nearby. A dinosaur stealthily approached from behind, ready to strike. Just as the red-haired boy faced the imminent threat, Michael emerged from the shadows, surprising both his pursuer and the menacing dinosaur. Displaying his resourcefulness and courage, Michael swiftly deployed a set of carefully crafted bombs, exploiting the creature's weakness to explosions. The explosion staggered the dinosaur, momentarily halting its advance. The red-haired boy, astonished by Michael's unexpected intervention, couldn't help but feel a mix of awe and gratitude. He observed Michael trembling with fear, yet resolutely standing his ground against the towering beast. It became clear to him that Michael possessed a determination that surpassed his own, pushing through fear to face the danger head-on. In a moment of revelation, Michael identified a crucial weakness in the dinosaur, a vulnerable spot hidden behind its hind leg. Realizing his chance to turn the tables, Michael fearlessly attacked the weak point, triggering the creature's rage. In retaliation, the dinosaur swung its powerful tail, striking Michael and sending him crashing to the ground. The red-haired boy, paralyzed by fear, could only watch in horror as the dinosaur lunged, intent on devouring his newfound ally. However, just as hope began to fade for Michael, Coco and Rex emerged from the shadows, answering the silent plea for assistance. Reacting with lightning speed, they sprang into action, unleashing their combined strength and skills to divert the dinosaur's attention away from Michael. The battle that ensued was fierce, with Coco expertly wielding her gun and Rex wielding his blunt weapon with calculated precision. Together, they formed a formidable force, their determination to save Michael lending them unwavering resolve. As Rex swung the blunt weapon at the large theropod, there was a moment of exhilaration followed by a realization that the dinosaur was not defeated. The blow had certainly stunned it, but it quickly regained its composure and turned its attention towards Rex. Coco's plan had not gone as smoothly as she had anticipated. As the dinosaur roared with anger, Rex realized that he had underestimated the immense power and resilience of the creature. Doubts started creeping into his mind, questioning whether he could truly defeat such a formidable opponent. However, Rex was not one to back down easily, especially when someone's life was at stake. In the midst of the chaos, Michael's hope was momentarily restored as he witnessed Rex's brave attempt to protect him. Inspired by Rex's courage and determination, Michael realized that he didn't need to rely solely on others for his own safety. He wanted to be strong like Rex and face his fears head-on. With renewed resolve, Michael searched for something he could use as a weapon. Spotting a fallen tree branch nearby, he picked it up and started approaching the struggling duo. Despite his young age and lack of experience, Michael was determined to contribute in any way he could. Meanwhile, Rex found himself locked in a fierce battle with the theropod. Swing after swing, he struck the dinosaur with a blunt weapon, delivering powerful blows. Each strike echoed with immense force, causing the ground to tremble. However, it became increasingly evident that the dinosaur was not going down without a fight. Coco swiftly maneuvered through the chaotic battlefield, shielding Michael from the ongoing clash between Rex and the enraged dinosaur. She carefully guided him away from the danger zone, her priority being to ensure his safety. As they distanced themselves from the epicenter of the battle, Coco glanced back to check on Rex, who was skillfully evading the dinosaur's relentless attacks. Rex's frustration was palpable, as he couldn't help but feel angry that he had once again fallen for Coco's manipulations. Realizing that they were outnumbered and outmatched, Coco and Rex made the difficult decision to retreat. They knew that running away was their only option to protect Michael and themselves from further harm. Michael gradually regained consciousness, the impact from the dinosaur's blow having caused him to momentarily lose his senses. Coco urged him to stay still, cautioning that he hadn't fully recovered yet and needed time to rest. Grateful for their rescue, Michael expressed his heartfelt gratitude to Coco and Rex. They had risked their lives to save him, and he felt a profound sense of indebtedness towards them. Curiosity sparked within Rex, prompting him to inquire about Michael's identity and the circumstances that led him to such a perilous situation. With a sense of trepidation, Michael introduced himself as a citizen of a nearby town. He shared his aspiration to become a guard, revealing his desire to protect others and contribute to the safety of his community. Coco, who had picked up a note from Michael earlier, discovered his written ambitions. However, Michael felt discouraged and unworthy, convinced that he lacked the necessary qualities to fulfill his dream. He requested Coco dispose of the note as he believed he was incapable of overcoming the challenges required to become a guard. He perceived his limitations as insurmountable despite his determination to work hard. Examining the situation more closely, Coco realized that Michael's attack had exploited a weakness in the dinosaur, preventing it from pursuing them further. This revelation dawned on her, and she shared this vital information with Rex. In response, Rex acknowledged Michael's courage and resourcefulness, emphasizing that his contribution had been instrumental in their successful escape. He argued that if Michael possessed such bravery, he had more than enough potential to become a guard. These words resonated deeply within Michael, kindling a newfound fascination for the idea. Filled with admiration and respect, Michael eagerly requested to become Rex's disciple, mistakenly assuming that Rex was already a guard. He believed that under Rex's guidance, he could develop his own courage and skills, hoping to emulate his newfound hero and mentor. The possibility of learning from someone as brave and capable as Rex ignited a fire within Michael, rekindling his aspirations and reigniting his belief in his own potential. Coco patiently listened to Michael's plea, understanding his enthusiasm and knowledge about dinosaurs. She clarified that their current journey was towards the guards' city, where they aim to train and become official guards themselves. She explained that their limited resources and the need to travel lightly made it difficult to accommodate another person. However, Michael's heartfelt request and his self-proclaimed expertise in dinosaurs tugged at Coco's heartstrings. Intrigued by Michael's confidence in his understanding of dinosaurs and his willingness to assist her in any way, Coco eagerly agreed to let him join their journey. She believed that his knowledge could prove invaluable during their encounters with prehistoric creatures. Rex, on the other hand, couldn't help but express his concern, shaking his head at what he perceived as Michael's potential regret for blindly trusting Coco's words. As the trio continued their journey, a chilling presence made itself known atop a nearby cliff. Raptor, a cunning and shrewd individual, stood tall, clutching a small book in his hands. He called out to his comrades, initially referring to them as slaves before quickly correcting himself and recognizing that they were allies and equals. And that's how the first part of this manhwa ends. Well guys, if you like this video and you want a second part, comment below with the word part 2, also subscribe to the channel, hit the bell and like the video. But most important, leave a comment. Until the next video.